All right, so I'd love to segue into, I think, what's number 3 or 4 on my list that the average person can do, we all can do, even if you don't have a rehabber's license or a vet degree, is be cognizant and be mindful when you go fishing. Can't tell you how many
fishing line and lures.
Fishing line gets trapped and wrapped around geese legs, geese beaks, about birds that get stuck with this around their wings and then are immobilized and flying. And, the catch and release thing with fish. I had an eagle that had 8 fishing hooks in its abdomen and it had to be euthanized. So the number one food source for eagles are fish. Right.
And we leave them with hooks in
osprey,
them.
And we leave them with hooks. So you think of very benign, I've released the fish. Well, if you don't take that hook out, guess what? You just hooked yourself an eagle or an osprey or an otter.
Yeah. The first wild bird that I had to work with when I graduated veterinary school and was back here practicing was a seagull who swallowed a lure that had the treble hook on it. Yeah. And then somebody tried to pull it out and the hooks were actually coming through the skin on its throat. And so I showed up to euthanize it because if you can catch a seagull, that's not very good.
Was that the story you shared right before pizza? That was great.
No, that was a different one.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the one on Martha's Vineyard.
It's really fun.
We won't talk about that one. I mean, us medical people.
So there's one rule, and it's one of the hardest laws to ever live by, and it's the only law I try to live by, is do as you will and harm none.
Yeah.
Because if you can go fishing and not leave behind harm, it's like you walk into a beautiful park. What right do we have to throw our red Solo cups on the ground and leave our water bottles and our fish hooks? Like, walk out with what you came in with, and even better, maybe take something with you. Because if you see line or hooks, grab it, because you just probably saved a life that day.
Yeah.
I've got my number one and most important thing that we all can do, and you don't need a license for this, and this is probably, we're at an actual crisis tipping point in the state of Connecticut and beyond, I'd say nationally, which is rodenticides.
Yeah, some towns are banning them now.
Newtown
just
set the
was
bar.
It Southbury, Southington? Southbury?
Southbury.
Yep.
And I am applauding them, and I will have you know that it took me a little bit, but I have removed all pesticides and rodenticides at the Avon Animal Control.
Yeah.
Because I can't be entrusted with saving animals and poison them.
Yeah.
There is nothing worse than seeing one of the most majestic, beautiful birds in the sky all of a sudden drop at your feet, bleeding from the eyes and the trachea. And that is clear, absolute evidence of rodenticides. And let's understand why it's called second generation. Because it not only kills the parents, but it goes and transfers into the oncoming offspring that drank the milk from that parent. And then you're killing multiple generations of mice are now lethally poisoning their best. We've got rodent birth control. We've got rodent. I use that at the dog pound, but we have rodent control right here.
Yeah,
our beautiful owls and hawks and fox and coyote that's our rodent control right there. So the irony is you're killing off the very things that we need to keep them under control.
Same thing with snakes. People hate snakes and they see them in their house and they kill them. It's like, well, that was eating the things that you don't want in the house as well. But, the problem is nobody wants to live with mice, and rats are especially challenging to deal with. But we don't really think about these unintended consequences. Like, okay, well, I think bleeding out to death internally is a pretty horrible way to die. Right. If I were a mouse or a rat that was going to be executed, I think I would rather want it to be done very quickly and humanely.
And, yes.
And there are other methods. And, unfortunately, it's kind of easy to have bait stations.
And what are those other methods? Because I get asked that.
So I love the bucket trick. So you can get a 5-gallon pail, and then you do like a little piece of wood, a pathway up to it, and then there's a dowel with a coffee can on it, and you slather the coffee can with peanut butter, and so they run out on it, and then it spins and then drops them into the bucket. Some people are a little bit more brutal, and they put a few inches of water in the bottom of the bucket, so eventually that mouse drowns. Or you just got a whole bunch of them in the bucket, and you go drive far away and dump them in a field. I mean, that's what some people do. As long as you
keep up on that and don't go on vacation.
Correct. Yeah, snap traps. That's what a lot of people generally use.
And there's Cambridge, Massachusetts, is using a company called Good Works is utilizing rodent birth control, and contraceptorol is what I'm using at the dog pound. You do have to feed it to them, so you're actually mixing it with dog kibble or something. So
you have to bait them.
Yeah, so
with birth control,
and they're eating it. And to be honest, for an entire year, it was the most productive thing we'd utilized at the dog pound, and it really, really worked. And then we got so good at containing our dog food that I stopped feeding them. That was my mistake. You actually still have to feed them a little bit, but a little goes a long way. Like a tablespoon fills a massive bowl. It lasts a whole week. So there are and then of course your peppermint. A mouse can fit through a hole this tiny, so you're
It's
stuffing it with
amazing.
steel wool. Keep your food sources away. Same goes for bears. What are we going to do about all our bears? Well, guess what? We're the problem. We're
invading in their environment and encroaching upon it.
Thank you. And then you literally see people feeding these adorable cubs donuts or hot dogs, and a 40-pound bear is going to come back as a 400-pound bear.
Yeah.
A bear will never forget a food source. So we've got to get our bear locks on our dumpsters. I'm proposing the state of Connecticut get a grant, especially in Avon, which is Bear Central, where I work. I think it'd be a great first start because I think all these restaurants leave their bins wide open and then complain, why are there bears in my backyard?
If there's food, they will come.